as a chief investigator for MUFON?
I have a pretty couple and incredible ones. I would have to say that my I sent some. Were you able to get some of the photos I sent you?
Yes, we did.
Okay, now I do have some photos. Let me just go to what I sent you here. These are pretty incredible shots, nighttime shots of a. That would be. Yeah, I have a question too, Q2, where there's 3 photos there, and it looks like a double light bar on them photos. And actually what that was the second sighting that this gentleman had. And the first sighting was, let me see here, I'm bringing this up here. I had people from ViewZone.com did an article about the sighting that I investigated. And this was in Bridgeton, October 13, 2006. I interviewed the witness, CS. He was concerned about his recent sighting, and he provided a drawing of the flying triangle that passed over his astronomical observatory on October 13, 2006 at around midnight. And he was an amateur astronomer, and he had an observatory out back, and he was new to the area. Very credible gentleman, retired, him and his wife. He was big into astrophotography, I guess they call it, and that's why he moved out in that area, because there's hardly any, he can see the stars very easily, and he was basically scared to death. I'll have a brief paragraph here I'd like to read off, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I like to read them off, so I don't want to forget anything. It says here, his statement was, he says, I was confronted with an enormous object clearly defined by ambient light. I thought it was crashing, but as it approached my observatory, it began to rise. This thing was barely moving forward and could not have been more than 200 feet above me, probably less. I could make out details of rivets and bolts in its construction as the object's rounded nose began to approach me. I was really taken back by its brightly lit windows. I was shocked to see a humanoid form moving as it were pacing back and forth in the large port windows about 8 feet square. As it got closer, the figure moved away from the window, and the figure is shown in the upper right side of the drawing. I apologize. I did not send you a copy of the detailed drawing that he presented to me, but it was pretty detailed. I thought there was no one at the controls. I got the impression it was getting ready to hover as it opened its hatch, moved directly over me, and I was entertaining some negative thoughts regarding my own safety. Talking to the witness, he described it basically looked like a black dumpster that was hanging from beneath this enormous triangle. And the only thing that we could really figure out was, we think that they were possibly looking for either horses or cattle in the area, because it's very rural in Bridgeton area, Alloway Township. It's South Jersey, and it's very, very rural. And we came to the conclusion that that's what it probably was. So continuing here, it was at least 2 stories high. It was 2 large windows, port and starboard. It had a rounded nose. There were 3 opaque light-style structures, 2 large turbo-type structures, larger in diameter and shorter in length than those on commercial aircraft. 8, there was flaps or stabilizers-style structures aft, and a large square black container. That's what I was talking about, the large black container that was protruding off the center from under its belly. An open hatch and other bulky geometric shapes that I saw, but I could only remember that they were thick, huge, bulky, with an incredible amount of drag that it could not be aerodynamically possible. Also, immediately I felt a surge of static electricity that tingled my face and hair on my arms and head as its tail section was about to pass over me. I quickly swung the dome and heard a low-pitched roar with the sound of bacon sizzling in a frying pan. Suddenly it was gone. No sound, and I did a 360-degree search, but it suddenly there was nothing there. So, like I said, I interviewed him, and he was physically shaken. I had to go out to his house quite a few times to kind of talk him off the ledge there. He was afraid to go out back, and he was pretty shaken up. As a matter of fact, he became a MUFON investigator because of this incident. So the crazy part about this, the photos I sent you, this is the second sighting that he had. And as you can see, there's two light bars, and this object, there's high power lines there you can see in the photo, and this object was stopped. It was basically rotating on its axis, and a lot of debunkers says, well, it's an airplane. It was flying fast, and the shutter speed of the camera, blah blah blah. They kill me. No, this object was standing still or moving very slowly, and he was ready this time. He got out back there. He had his camera ready, and he was snapping away. So many photos. These are probably three of the best ones that we have right now. And this happened on September 24th, 2007. Same location. MUFON case number is 8111. And the witness statement is the night of September 24th, 2007 was brightly lit due to a full moon. It was approximately 11:30 p.m. and I was outside with a digital camera nearby. I had nothing special in mind, but due to the bizarre experience I had last October 2006, this experience had been recorded on the MUFON website. I always keep a camera on hand when I'm out at night. A bright light again caught my eye, and I observed this rectangular-shaped light begin to rise slowly behind a tree line.
Ken, I'm going to have to hold you here because I've got to take my news break at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by. Ken Pfeifer and I will return on the other side of this story, a cliffhanger, and we'll continue talking about UFOs here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton. Don't go away. Hi, this is Rob McConnell, just letting you know that the X Chronicles newspaper is now available online at www.xzonebookclub.com. All past editions and current editions of the X Chronicles newspaper are available for 99 cents. That's www.xzonebookclub.com, and that's 99 cents U.S. per edition. And don't forget, the X Zone store is now open as well for all of your X Zone Nation merchandise. www.thexzonestore.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Exonation, welcome back, everyone, to all our new affiliates around the world and to the new listeners of the DMZ Broadcast Network. Welcome to the X Zone. Ken Pfeifer is my very special guest this hour. He is the chief investigator for MUFON for the state of New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Here's a couple of websites. He's got a lot of great photos, Exonation. www.worldufophotos.org and www.worldufophotosannews.org. And Ken, thanks so much for being with us. It's a great pleasure talking to you after all these years of watching you and going to your website. We were talking about a case that you're investigating before we went to the news, and I'd like you to finish it off so we can talk about more great UFO stuff.
Okay, yeah, sure. Now, this was the basically second part of this Alloway Township, Bridgeton, New Jersey sighting that this gentleman had. I'll continue here. It says here, well, it happened the night of September 24, 2007, and it was brightly lit to a full moon. It was approximately 11:30 at night, and I was outside with a digital camera ready. He was ready this time because, he was basically in shock the first time that this humongous triangle flew over his observatory there. So he had a camera now. He was kind of, hoping that something would come by, and it did. He said he had nothing special in mind, but due to the bizarre experience I had last October 2006, I always keep a camera on hand when I'm out at night. A bright light again caught my eye, and I observed this rectangular-shaped light begin to rise slowly behind a tree line in the south, approximately 1 mile away. This object appeared to hover for about 20 seconds and then began to travel west at a very low speed. As it began to moving west, it seemed to pivot on both the vertical and horizontal axis, revealing more detail until it disappeared behind a tree line. I captured this object with my digital, and the pictures came out surprisingly well. I use a Canon 20D A-A, which I use for astrophotography, and I have transferred these images to a disk. And, that's what he captured there. I sent them photos out to you. I'm hoping maybe you can display them somehow. But like I said, this witness, he became an investigator from MUFON, and we basically closed this case out as unknown. We got no cooperation from the neighbors. He was fairly new to the area down there. And, I went down there, and I felt this case was so important. I'm basically knocking on doors asking people if they've seen anything strange, in the sky at night. And they're very rude, just turn around, wouldn't say a word. It was really weird. That's all I can really say about that. But
Ken,
got
tell me
very little cooperation from anyone, and we after a few months we closed this out as unknown, and that's still unknown as we speak right now. So that was pretty remarkable. I think probably one of the best nighttime photos of a I'm going to call it alien craft. I'm not even going to call it a UFO.
But let me ask you this, Ken. When you go out and do an investigation, how does the public generally react to an investigator from a UFO organization asking them questions if they've seen a UFO?
Well, quite frankly, I would say 99% of our investigations are done over the phone. There's really no sense in since MUFON doesn't pay us anything. There's no sense in driving 40 miles so a witness can point up into the sky and say, yeah, that's where it was. So we do most of our investigations over the phone. We have a very long form that they have to fill out to answer many, many questions, which they do, surprisingly. And I've only had to travel out a few times. I've had a couple alien abduction cases that I was involved in. And, like I said, this case here warranted me going out there to see what the heck was going on because of the photos that he sent me. So they're the ones that you want to go to. Now, in the past, I'm sure you realize that a gentleman named Bigelow, he was entrepreneur from in Las Vegas. He was paying for MUFON investigators to go out